everyone. I want to share with you our work on the natural tea growing and farming concept, and I promise to tell you all about it once we've written down what we feel could be included. So here we go. Chemical free and fertilizer free, artificial fertilizer free, it won't be needed. Natural tea growing appreciates the complete ecosystem tea plants live in, and we're going to go into more detail over time. Natural tea growing ideally supports and records the biodiversity as well of wild plants, trees and wildflowers. That will also help you then. I think that's a little private aeroplane that's interrupting us. And that will also help the natural tea farmer to learn about the ecosystem, to look a little bit more in detail what plants you have and what your biodiversity is. At times, it may make sense to add non-invasive plants to support and encourage a healthy and balanced ecosystem. Non-invasive is important because you don't want to introduce plants that take over. It includes that it can be applied, this system can be applied to small scale and larger scale tea farming. That's really important as well. And added plants should be chosen carefully to encourage biodiversity and a balanced growing space without one plant taking over. Natural tea farming this is one of the most important points of it all, that it's moving as far away from monoculture as possible and not to be scared of that. This is really important, and it's really at the center of natural tea farming. When you move away from a monoculture and introduce biodiversity, you actually strengthen the ecosystem in the face of climate change. So it's something that is quite interesting and important to consider. This is also part of it, and it's about farmers, growers gaining knowledge about pollinators and natural predators. For example, ladybirds, toads, spiders, whatever they are in your growing space. And some of those animals can be really, really helpful in your endeavour to grow your main crop, which is tea, Camellia sinensis. Another aspect of it is it includes farming and growing with the concept of climate change and climate action in mind. And that is very much linked to the monoculture point that I've just raised. The further away you move from monoculture, it will protect your growing space, your ecosystem, much more in the face of climate change. Climate change is already happening in the tea world. In a number of areas across the world, we already have much less water, and our beloved tea plant loves water, good water, quality water. So the quality is decreasing, and due to all the toxins we put into the soil and into the air, and also due to drought from climate change. This point is also part of it. It's very much about aiming to be plastic free and reusing plastic if you've already got it, and if you do feel you need to use materials, use natural materials as much as you can. For example, wood. You might have trees already that you have, branches or some wood that you already have in your growing space. We also use hessian, untreated hessian, that will turn into soil. This is also very important, and it includes gaining an understanding of the complexity and health of your soil. And there's quite a lot written about now in research on mycorrhiza, and each plant has its own partner, and there's a lot written about that. And again, these beautiful helpers, this beautiful fungi that helps our plants to gain nutrition in the soil, is destroyed and damaged with the chemical sprays that we're using. And this is also very important, I think, that is having a respect for plants and animals. Just feeling that we're respecting nature and all the biodiversity in it. And this here, all of it doing the natural tea growing will result actually in as little intervention as possible. So an example intervention that still maybe would be necessary is removing invasive plants and things like that, but a lot of intervention would be necessary in a balanced ecosystem. And here it's about gaining knowledge about the connections and the interconnectedness within your farm, your growing space. That's really important. And it's really, everything is connected in a balanced ecosystem, which is your farm or your growing space. All the different plants are connected to a variety of animals. They may be acting as host plants, and a variety of plants are connected to your main crop, because they may be, when they're turning back into soil, nourishing your crop. So there's lots and lots of connections, and the more you know about them, the more you understand your growing space. And here, this is about embracing challenges and being solution focused. And I think challenges are, will be there and are there all the time. But if we're solution focused, either linking up with others, or if you feel you can come up with your own solution to any obstacle or problem that you have, then go for it. So that's really important. Don't give up. And this here is moving away from the belief that we can control every part of our growing space. We don't need to feel that or to do that. Again, in a balanced ecosystem full of biodiversity, all these connections are working by themselves. We are only one part of that. Thank you for listening. I will endeavour to put as much as possible into practice of this concept, and if you're interested to hear more about it or to work together, do let me know and get in touch. I am planning also to work with some ecologists and scientists to record progress, to see how it's going, to record health of our plants and record yield, and record climate change aspects, and I would like to thank everyone who's inspired me as well, and who is working together with me. Chiyabari, the team are lovely up in Nepal. They're already fully organic, but they are putting a lot of this concept in place as well. Wonderful people. And in Korea as well, I've seen tea plants quite happily growing in quite stressed conditions in terms of temperature as well, but quite happily growing in a lot of biodiversity within forests, with sometimes very little sunlight. This is very interesting as well. But being with other plants actually gave them quite a lot of protection. So thank you very much for listening, and get in touch. Thank you.